Hello and welcome to the Feedback Show. I'm Stephen Bradley.
And I'm Colin Bradley.
How's it going, Dad?
All right, Steve.
You alright?
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to another show, another Feedback Show. Got some great pieces to show you this week and some more advice and tips coming your way. So should we crack on?
Let's go for it.
Let's crack on. I'll make us smaller. There we go. So first one, nice to see something different on the Feedback Show, watercolour painting.
Yes.
We don't get many of these, do we?
We don't.
This is from Danny, and Danny says, this weekend I started a painting of a mountain and some trees from my home place. I began with the sky and mountains and the trees to the left. So far I was very pleased, but when I came home to the middle trees, when I came to do the middle trees above the water, I became totally lost. It was very frustrating not being able to complete this painting, and I was humbly hoping for your advice on painting the typical Scandinavian forest on medium length.
And we're looking at watercolour here, aren't we?
We're looking at watercolour, yeah.
Well, this is going to be quite hard, but one of the things you've got to do if you've got a foreground and a background is lose the background. The background has got to melt back into. In other words, you've got to... Pastel pencil wouldn't be a problem at all. With watercolour, it's a little trickier because you've got to weaken your paint.
So like tone down the colour?
Yeah, very much so, and including the sky there. You see, what happens is it all goes on one level. See the problem? You're all on one level now. Instead of having, all you've got is that dark tree on the left that gives you any distinction.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the picture on the right, the photograph, you can see that what I'm talking about, the mountains in the distance and the green coming from the mountains and the sky are subdued. Now, that's not easy to do. I warn you now, but it just means you weaken the paint. You don't put the paint on quite so strong, or the detail quite so strong. If you look at the mountains, they're crisp. Well, you need to pull that back. Now, when you do that, coming down to the tree level, then the trees set against that better. You have a better contrast. Even photographs can be misleading. So very often, if you've got a photograph, you have to adjust your painting accordingly. And what I would have done if I was looking at the picture on the right, the photograph on the right, I would have made that subdued, possibly even more so than it is on that photograph, then made the trees in the foreground a little stronger.
So they would pop forward and then everything else would look distant.
And I mean, trees are all very difficult in every medium. In watercolour, they're doubly difficult.
Especially these trees, let me point with the mouse, over here. They're so blended that you don't really see individual trees.
That's right. There's enough trees on our member site for people to look at and see how I do it. But even following me, you're still going to have a problem. Actually, one of the things you could look at again is the latest freebie that we've got on YouTube. I do a set of trees there, and you can see what I've done with there. They're a little darker. So if you had the same kind of idea there, that would work better.
As well, isn't it?
I know it's pastel pencil, but you can still do it in watercolour. There, you make them just a little stronger. And you then need to separate the trees, and I can't really give you any more advice than that. It's just an extremely hard thing to do. If I'd been looking at that, I probably wouldn't have done the picture.
Because of the trees.
As a watercolour picture. Pastel pencil, you get away with it. What I would have done with a pastel pencil, had I had it, and you could have done it with watercolour, it's more difficult, is that you can make the trees different colours. Instead of all one bland green colour that you've got there, with just tonal values, you can put some ochres in there and make it a little bit more...
I see what you mean, and there is an ochreish tone to these trees over here compared to the one on the left, isn't it?
And just an observation, it's Danny, isn't it? Yes. If I were you, hard as though it is, I'd have put the water in, because that gives you something to break it up from the foreground. If you look at the foreground on Danny's picture, you haven't got much room for the water, and I know probably, and I'm only guessing, you would have found that difficult to do, and you're right, you're dead right. Water is hard, it's hard as trees. But if you're doing a painting, then it would have been better to have that water in the foreground to make it look just that little better. But,
so you're not only looking at this and getting perspective and getting tonal qualities from the foreground to the background, but you're also looking at composition and also
interest.
and getting different tones within the trees to try and separate them.
And the other thing is, you see, if you look at the trees with water, you can see the trees reflecting in the water. That would have been a nice little add-on. So I hope this is helping you. There's not much you can do with watercolour. I can't say, well, you can do this and you could do this with your picture, or you do that with your picture. You can't. With watercolour, you're stuck.
Once it's done, it's done.
You've done it, done, yeah. There's no way out. I've gone through this. When I first started watercolour work, I remember distinctly doing watercolour with trees in the background, trees in the middle distance and trees in the... and I made them all the same. And I thought, what's wrong with that? This is when I first started.
Yeah.
I thought, that doesn't look right. You wouldn't have a tree in the distance. I knew what I went wrong, and by going wrong, you then know, well, I won't do that again.
You fade them out. I see you do it on pastel pencils. That's where my go-to. I see you do that on pastel pencils because you mute the tones with the base colours. But
that's right.
With this, you've got to mix a completely different colour, haven't you?
You have, yes. You've got to weaken your wash. Yeah, very much so. Pretty hard, I tell you. Go back to pastel pencils, Danny.
All right, Danny. Well, thanks for showing that, and I hope that people have found that useful. I hope you found that useful too. Okay, moving on to a pastel pencil picture here from Maud. Maud says, please could you give advice as to the background? I did this last and then could not finish the coat off the coat on the top, if you see what I mean. The light would not show, though I am very new to pastel pencil, even soft pastel. I've worked all my life in watercolour, and as I am 80, that is a long time. Having watched Colin on YouTube, I've been inspired. He's so good. This is my first but not my last attempt at pastel pencils, so I need all the help I can get. So please, Colin, help. Do you understand what... I did that very well there.
No, it's all right. I do understand, and I think we can see
what the
problem
isn't it?
is. Well, if you look at the background on Maud's picture, you have, if you go down the side here, Stephen, just there, that's it. This is where the problem is. The background's been, the pastel pencil hair on the dog has been put in with no attention, no even attempt at putting the hair over the extending into the background. In other words, you've got a line, and I've spoke about this a few times. In fact, you've got a line. Once you've got that line, you can't do anything about it if you put the background up to it. See? Now, how to get over that? Well, you can get over it actually with pastel pencil. It's been watercolour, scrap it. But pastel pencils, no problem, because what you have to do is to rub out with your pencil eraser, if you've got it. If you look at the picture on the right, look at that same area that we're talking about under the snout going down to the body, right? That area. Rub that out and bring pastel paper back in again. Are you with me?
To bring the colour back.
So it's
from the
pastel paper, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you put the hair into that. You extend the hair into that. Then, hard though it might seem, you've then got to put the background into that.
I see what you mean. So
but even if the background goes into that and it strays, if you like, onto the hair, which is almost certain to, you could pull it back again because you've got the white underneath, or the tan colour underneath. You see what I mean? The fawny colour.
Yes, I see what you mean.
And you've seen me do this so many times. Again, I did that when I first started. When I thought, how am I going to get over that?
So you put the animal hair onto the paper so that at least when the background starts creeping closer, you've already got that there to bring back. I see it so many times, you're bringing back the colour that's underneath. Yeah, yeah, and it works well. Another area typical of that is above the right eye. You see, again, you've got that light area. Wispiness.
You try to put it in, it won't work. You can't put light over dark, folks. You know that. And there's a good example of that. But you can still do it, because get your double-ended eraser, use the soft end of the double-ended eraser. If you have a problem with that, you can use the hard end of the double-ended eraser, and you can, almost as though you're putting the hair on with the double-ended eraser, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And leaving the pastel paper then exposed, and then fill it in with the white, and then crush in with the background again. Again, if you look at all the animals that I've done it.
And specifically the end of a picture, when you're bringing the fur back out, if the background's got a bit close, you can bring that fur back.
You can, but you never get it on top of that dark background.
No, not unless you've done it
That's right. Not unless
First.
you've already sort of preconceived the fact that you're going to be putting light on there.
Yeah.
It's hard, but possible.
Okay.
That's what I would suggest you did.
Great. Okay, thanks, Maud.
Good effort, though.
Yeah, first attempt. Very, very well done. Okay, next one. This is from Sherry. I tried to do the tiger painting with what she has available. Sherry's in Mexico, finding it quite difficult to get some products over there.
Shame.
With what I have available, and I think I did okay. I was reasonably pleased with the result, but then disaster. My paper would not hold the pastels very well on the background, so I decided to fix the painting. And the fixative was off, probably from being on a shelf here in Mexico for years, and it spoiled the painting, and I'm totally gutted. I have submitted it anyway, and please look beyond the spots of fixative and give me your criticism and comments.
Let's look at this as though you hadn't fixed it. I've done a really good job of that.
Very well.
A really good job of it. Even the grass in the front, which has proved very awkward for a lot of people. You've managed to do that quite well. I would have put a little bit more dark in the grass, a little bit more contrast, but apart from that. And the other thing is, a lot of my members are quite shy of putting very dark colours on. If you look at mine, the impact of that dark makes the picture. So if you sort of fight shy of that and you think, oh, I don't think I want to make it as dark as that, well, you're not going to work. It's not going to work. So I would have put another coat on. Now, I think it's worth a go. Try it, maybe in one corner, right up the top in the far corner. Don't matter which corner. And try putting the, I would put a 181 on there and a black on top of the 181 to try to make it a bit darker. If you succeed, just do a little bit. If you succeed, follow it through on the whole picture. If it doesn't work, just take it off again. But you should be able to put the pastel on top of the fixing. And then you can say, well, isn't it going to smudge? Well, yes, it is. But that's the problem we have with pastel, unfortunately. We have a beautiful medium, but we've got restrictions and limitations with it. Doesn't bother me, never has done. But you just have to leave it unfixed, because if you fix again, you're in the same boat.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's worth trying to get that.
It's definitely worth a go. Yeah,
bit.
I would definitely go. Just a small area there, that maybe half a centimetre, maybe. Because what you could do, you could always trim the picture. If you decided to have that framed or somebody wanted it, you could always take that much off the side and the top, and it'll work quite well.
It's worth a go.
That's what I do.
Because you used to fix your pictures and then apply on top of that.
Oh, yes, I used to.
Providing the fixative hasn't, because it's been on a shelf for a long time, it hasn't completely spoiled it, you should be able to go back on top.
That's true, yes. But even if it hadn't gone off, so to speak, the fact that you fixed, if I'd fixed mine, it would have looked perhaps not quite the same as Cherry's, but close. It spoils it, it completely ruins it. Makes it very dark. And very dark, it makes it very shiny. And therefore you get light reflection off it.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is worth a go. I hope you get on with that. I hope that you're able to do that. And if you do, let us know, because and we'll talk about it. One
of the good things that comes from all of this, though, Cherry, and you must take heart, that you've learned an awful big lesson there.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. And it's a great job on the picture, I think, as well.
Yeah,
great, fantastic job.
The picture's very good, yeah.
Anyway, well done. Okay, last one for today. This is Brian. And Brian says, hello, Colin and Stephen. I was wondering if you could help me, give me some help in drawing the pine trees, especially the ones in the background. I live in Canada on a beautiful lake, and most of my landscape drawings include either pine or spruce trees.
Yes, spruce, yes.
As they are common trees in my area. I was even going to ask Colin if he wouldn't mind doing some kind of demo of drawing pine trees, maybe in the future.
Yes, I will. I will, that's a promise, I will. We've got a Series 2 coming up before Christmas, and I shall make sure that there's a pine tree amongst it, because I know not only you, but everybody else would like to see it too. But if you look at your picture is really good. Can I make a small criticism though? What we have there, Brian, is a slight problem with your composition. Have you got? You can't do your magic, can you?
I can.
Can you bring the picture from the bottom up, Steve? I'll tell you when to stop. A bit more. Stop. 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 Yeah, that's all right. And well, come down a little bit. It depends. You see, you get a situation like this, and I'd be tempted to cut off the side slightly because I do like that. What I've got there is nice. Now, the reason I do that is I've moved the horizon line down. If you split the horizon line on a picture, on a landscape particularly, it's not necessarily a good thing. You might say, well, I've seen that. Other artists have done it. Well, they might do, but this is giving you an idea of how it works. Now, what I would do in a situation like this, if you've got your magic thing again, I'm going to take the top off just a tiny bit so it comes down to where the pitch painting starts. That's it. Now, go from that side just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Stop. And now go for the other side a little bit more. So you kept that, just get that tree just peeping into it. That'll do. Yeah, that's fine. Now let it go. You see how much nicer the composition is now. It's better than the photograph, isn't it? And you've got just about everything there. The only thing you've got a problem with is the trees. Now we know that because you've asked me for help, so I will help you. But imagine if we could superimpose the trees on the right to the trees on your picture. That would have been a lovely picture, wouldn't it? You've done a terrific job at the water. I think it's great. One other little problem. When you have a water line, which is right in the middle, just below the bank on the hills on the left here, that line has to be straight. When you can't have water going up like this.
Oh, I've just noticed that. I see what you mean. You mean here?
Yeah, all the way along, right along there. Now you might think, whoa, it's not that bad, is it? No matter how bad it is, it's wrong. If you look at the picture on the right,
straightness from here to here. I see what you mean.
Not the trees, because the trees are forward of that. The trees on the left.
It's the water line, isn't it?
But the water line. That would have made quite a difference. Just a small point. These are pastel pencils, aren't they? Well, you can do that. Do you know what I would do there? I would use my rule and make it from the line, I would say, from the light line there, yeah, and go straight. Now you've got to go straight right up to the trees. Make those trees come forward very, very slightly, not much, but a little bit. And I'd put if you've got a pencil eraser, these are ideal. You can run the pencil eraser right along. Right along. Now, obviously you're going to expose the water, so you've got to do the water again. But that would really work great.
So you could,
that's what I'd do. If it was my picture, that's what I wouldn't have done it in the first place. But, if I'd seen it after, I'd think, oh my goodness, I've got a wobbly line. I've got a wobbly line, especially that distance away. Anyway.
What about the trees?
There's not... If I was doing the trees, I'd make them darker. They're stronger.
Okay.
And another thing, while we're on it, you brought it up, right? Stephen brought this up, folks, right?
He asked about the trees.
I wasn't going to say anything, yeah. All right, but now you have.
Okay.
If you look at the trees on the right for a minute, and then go from the right up here, Steve, and work your way down there to the bottom. That's
here,
it.
yeah?
Right, yeah. Now, do it slow and I can explain to you. Now, you see, we haven't got, go all the way down to the bottom. No, on the edge. That's it.
Yeah.
Right all the way down. Now, you see, almost follow the sky, Steve. Follow the sky. No, you should have ducked in there.
What do you mean?
Come down here and then go.
Oh, like this?
Yes, that's it.
I'm following Dad's finger, you see. Yeah. Okay, here.
That's the idea. This is what I'm talking about, folks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Comes in and out.
Okay, you've done enough now. Thank you. Now, if you look at if you look at the trees on Brian's picture, they're all regimental. They're all standing in a nice little line.
I see where you're going with that.
Now, what you've got to do is not only have you got to follow the similar idea to the photograph, but you've got to make it even more of a difference, because even the photograph's got a little bit as though someone's gone with a hedge trimmer or a tree trimmer.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is one thing you shouldn't do. So again, if you look at my pictures all my trees, you'll see that I deliberately do it. In fact, I mention it many, many times. If you've watched them, I say, now, I can't make these too regular. I've got to make them break in, so we have a... And darker too, because that would have impacted against the sky better.
I see.
I love the tree, though. That's great.
Yeah.
The bare tree, that's great. So, anyway, you'll find out, because I'm going to do a pine tree.
Yeah.
And so you'll get an idea. And I won't be doing... If I do, folks, you can send me an email saying, you told me I'd go like that, but now you're doing it like that.
Yeah, don't use a tree trimmer on your tree.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Great. Well, that, yeah.
That's a good... You get your money's worth there, Brian. But it's a lovely
more than
picture.
what you asked for, but yeah, I think that's really helpful. I've learned a lot from that.
But the more I look at the picture now, the more I like it. Because it's got...
A lot of different elements, isn't it? A lot of different elements. The trees, the water, and the distance.
And the reflections. Once again, that's the second lot of reflections. How nice that is. Great.
Excellent. Lovely. Thanks, Brian. And that's all we got for this feedback show. Look out for that clip. Like we said, we're already planning our second season of this Pastel Pencil Demonstrations web series, which has gone down so well. We've still got, I don't know how many episodes left, but
5 or 6. On
a few more to go. Different subject, yeah.
We haven't got the bank on it. No,
Riverbanks after this clip that went out today, which is the sailboat.
And then we got a real
whole new picture.
Which is great. You're going to love that.
Yeah. And we're already planning our next season. So keep your suggestions coming in. It might be season 3 now by the time we get around to them, but keep them coming in and keep interacting with us. And all the feedback that we've given today on pictures has come from people that are members of our website. So if you want to be a member, then go to colinbradleyart.com and sign up for any one of our membership packages, and we'll be able to give feedback on your artwork. It's part of the service. Great. Thanks, Dad, for that.
Pleasure.
I hope everyone's enjoyed it. If you have, let us know in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next show. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Stephen Bradley.
Bye for now.